Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We left off at a pivotal moment as we were getting back to the courtroom. As you can see, apparently it's 12:30 p.m. I guess a whole hour passed during the relatively brief conversations that we had. But oh well, I guess we're back in it. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from London Brents. Oh yeah, we accused Olive of being the true culprit of Shakespeare's poisoning. Which is still pretty wild, honestly. Namely, that the victim of the case that we heard only a few days ago was the perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Oh, geez, you're really doing me a fucking kindness, aren't you, Van Zich? Thank you for that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the honourable British prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Zykes was a new witness present and ready to take the stand. Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord. Very well, bailiff. Bring the witnesses in. Wait, there's more than one? Oh, I guess Shakespeare is probably there too. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please. Even though I'm pretty sure Shakespeare already did that. William Shakespeare, my liege. For mine occupation, I can say only that I be a tragic victim, to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words. That's a bit harsh. I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed, in other words. What a coterie. Mr. Shakespeare. My lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. Possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would for naught else, my lord. And, Miss Quinn? Yes. You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume? Also, wow, I can't believe they let you bring your fucking canvas and easel into the courtroom with you. Yes, the officer did explain. That's funny. Look, it's pointing at him because he's, you know, a big dum-dum. I see. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon. And? Do you accept the charge, Miss Green? Oh yeah, like she's gonna be like, oh yeah, I totally did it. Without any fucking hesitation. If only things could be so easy, am I right? I don't know anything about any poisoning. And, I don't know anything about this man. We just called him a ridiculous buffoon. You don't normally call people ridiculous buffoons if you don't know them personally. Come, lady, die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly, pigmented personage. Very well. Let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair. Oh, it's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night this man was poisoned, I was still in hospital, fighting for my life. I mean, yeah, that part is kind of strange.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Garadeb household.
Yeah, there you were.
An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own. And now I'm under suspicion? What other relevant things might I be suspected of? Oh, it's all very disturbing. Your energies may be spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect with Mr. Shakespeare's lodging is a Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened. Oh, no! The incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful accident? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And, of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day, too, Mr. Shakespeare. But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned. Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February. The evening of 17th of February. It was 6 days ago, at about 5 p.m., I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to just be outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakest, for I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all of this business. Yes, a second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume this is a most unfortunate coincidence.
Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shakespeare.
'Twas the following morn when I did awaken that I learned of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of law make on the floor of mine! When Tazeki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder.
As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance.
It's true. It does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance, but I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses, if you wish. Yes, my lord, of course. That's what I get paid to do. That's why I get paid the big bucks. The evening of the 17th of February. It was 6 days ago, at about 5 p.m. Okay, well, I mean, I don't think that's a lie, but let's just press and see what we'll find out. I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Oh, it was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. And I woke up to find the case had been solved and the culprit arrested.
Yes, the incident has been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening and should now be forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, it does have to be pretty weird, you know, being the victim of an incident and not even remembering anything that happened, and then just waking up and everything's already been taken care of. Yes, I suppose so. Thank you. But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case. The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Were you? Were you really just walking along the pavement? Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the man in this case had their lodgings.
Hold it!
Okie dokie, tell me a little bit more if you don't mind. What were you doing there that day, though? What do you mean? The art school you attend, what's it called? Ah, yes, it's the Thorndyke Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Sholmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene on the Underground. So yeah, it's not like you would just be casually walking along the road, Briar Road, on the way home, well, on the way back from Thorndyke Academy. Or the way to, I guess. I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road. Isn't that right? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End? Well, it's because, oh yes, of course, I thought it might make a nice picture.
The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas.
That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town. Perhaps quaint would have been a less, grating term. The point is, she's definitely hiding something. Yes. It seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth. In fact, 'cause I'm pretty sure she told us, at least partially what happened yesterday. Wasn't she there to meet someone at the fucking tavern? The Grub and Grubbery or whatever it was called? The Soup and Salad? One or the other? If she's trying to hide why she was there that evening, it must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shakespeare, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing? 'Twould be my pleasure, sire. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakest, for I had bespoke my supper. A tavern, you say? Which one? Oh yeah, the Slug and Salad, right. 'Twas a Slug and Salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End.
And a little unexpected, I feel.
What do you mean, Lord Van Zykes?
The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least.
Oh, really? Because I gotta say, the fucking Slug and Salad sounds like a fucking disgusting place to go, if I'm being honest. I mean, why would you want to go to a place where they give you slugs?
Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room.
It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness. Okay, where the fuck did you get a menu for the fucking soup and salad, or for the Slug and Salad in your book there, Cesato? Also, what premium bread crust and glasses of water with different levels of cloudiness? That doesn't exactly sound high end.
I would have expected Grub's Grubbery in the local vicinity to be more, appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas. Or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush.
Jesus Christ, what? They don't sound exactly like they're above board. All equally appetizing. I just wanted to try some water at a different pub for once. What's wrong with that? How different can water really be? Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment. Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days, he dined at a place he wouldn't normally. It does stand out. So Mr. Shanspere's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious, apparently. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. Well, no, I'm gonna wait to press everything before I go presenting anything else. I'm sorry. I wish we did, but sadly, I can't think of anything at the moment. If we find a clue that could explain why Mr. Shamsphere went there, we must present it to the court. Yeah, duh, obviously. If that is all on this matter, Counsel, I would ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to. That's all.
Hold it!
What little matter, Miss Green? Please, elaborate. Oh, it was nothing really. It's not worth mentioning. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. Yeah, you did. See? Yeah, you did tell us. Ah. It was related to the card you were holding. Miss Green? What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. Yeah, that I do recall. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. What does that matter? Jeez, what the fuck was that noise you just made? What does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan.
Duncan Ross.
Please, Miss Green, tell us more about that note. I'm sorry. There's really nothing I can tell you. But I can assure you, it's unrelated to all this. Completely unrelated. The truth is, you went out that day because that's what the note told you to do, isn't it? The instructions were for you to come at Briar Road at 5 o'clock that afternoon. I didn't think I should go at first, but then I thought it might be a good opportunity to see what the East End looked like.
Well, that's your final word on the matter. Continue, please.
Well, I'll come back to that in a second. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about any of all of this business. Yes, you didn't regain consciousness until the day after the trial, did you? In the early hours? Exactly! So how could I have had anything to do with it? And yet you still haul me in here to court like this. Honestly.
So at the time of the poisoning, the witness was unconscious in her hospital bed. Could there be a more airtight alibi, I ask you?
And yet, in spite of that, you claim that I was the culprit. Well, but you certainly haven't produced any evidence to support your wild claim, have you? None at all.
There you have it. The good lady has yet to see evidence, my learned Nipponese friend.
I'm working on it, God.
Counsel, I'll point out here that the jury's next decision will be final.
We're really up against the wall here. Mr. Naruhodo, did you notice? One of the witnesses reacted rather strangely to something that was said before. Oh, you mean... That's right. When you see someone reacting in an odd way, it's time to pursue. I know. I just wanted to fucking press everything, so sue me. I'll check the pursue.
Hold it!
Yeah. Okay. skip a bit. Yeah, flashback, yada yada. Yeah, we know how this, we know this part. Okay, now we can pursue this. Excuse me, what the fuck was that? Mr. Shamspear, do you have something to share with the court? To be, or not to be, that is the question. Ah, pray, forgive me. The great bard's words springeth from within me with nary a thought. Don't tell me. It's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps. Huh? Eh? Well, nay, sire. 'Twas nothing at all. Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. I would it was so, but sadly, nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours. Miss Green? Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong? The card that was mentioned before, containing the note. Do you have it upon your person? I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really. Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. Miss Green's card. Okay, look, hey, now we have that on evidence as part of our evidence. Sick. Of course. That's what links Mr. Shamspear and Miss Green. It's Duncan Ross. Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green. I'll just check that bad boy out real quick, like. Oh, I want to read it. Can we read it? The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. Ah, what is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact same shape somewhere else. Oh, you don't mean... You think of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Exactly. That's it. Try to match them up. Yeah. Because we did find that envelope, the torn part, in Shamspear's room. We found the not torn part in Olive's possession. That's it's pretty curious, I would suggest, and perhaps a little bit strange as well. They go together perfectly. The torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card. Okay, look at that. We updated both pieces of evidence. Ain't that cool? Okay, I guess we can just read the letter itself. Okay, I think it was this statement I want to go back to.
Hold it!
Okay, we read this already, so we can just kind of skip ahead until the point where we can present evidence. I like the little slowly dinging in pitch dings. That was pretty nice. Okay, let's present some evidence. You know, not pussyfooting around, you know? Mr. Shamspear? Yes, sire? On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakest. Very well. I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely, this card. This envelope. I believe this card revealeth the answer. Good lord. Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shakespeare, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shakespeare? Well... excuse me, can I say something? Yes, Miss Green? That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it? Well, you'd think so, but it's hard to believe it's merely... my lord, may I...
Wait, what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that... Wait, sorry. I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well then. You may amend your testimony, I suppose, to include details about the peculiar note.
This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the odd man next to me here. Oh, are you sure about that, I wonder?
Hold it!
I think you said that you received it the day before the incident, didn't you? Yes, that's right.
There appears to be no indication of the sender's name or address on the envelope.
It was in my letterbox, and, that's all I know, I'm afraid. I've no idea who sent it.
I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Who is it, Duncan Ross, please?
Oh, a friend of mine. He attended the same art school as I do. He passed away in a, tragic accident a month ago now, though. I wasn't sure what to make of that note, to be honest, but in the end, I decided to go. So you found out what the information was? Of course I didn't. You're not thinking straight.
Whilst on her way there, she was stabbed in the back. As my learned friend hopefully remembers.
Ah, yes, of course. She never made it to the meeting. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo! You pursued Mr. Shakespeare wonderfully there. It's worked out well, hasn't it? We have a new clue at last. Alright, now I need to pull up a really insightful objection somewhere. Well, as you've managed to expose this probably new angle, I wonder if you should perhaps try to develop that. Yes, of course. And yelling out objections isn't necessarily the best way to do that, I suppose. Again, the curious thing is, though, is the fact that this envelope, the part where you would open it up at, it was found in Mr. Shakespeare's room, so, like, what's that about, exactly? It's a bit strange, really. Frankly, I'm not exactly sure what to make of it, but, I'm gonna try and, I'll just throw it out there, but I'm gonna save it for the next episode. We made pretty decent progress. We cross-examined, we pressed, we pursued, and we even got some new evidence out of it, so that's pretty cool, I suppose. Like I said, it's still, again, how this poisoning and how it all relates is, I haven't quite put together yet, but, you know, we're making progress, so that's the important thing. But, until then, though, I'll see you around.